Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Your Broker Admin and guest interview. This week, I'm joined in the YBA chat room by Kym Alexander, founder and principal with Think Finance, to talk about her broker journey. I'm your host, Rob Cummings. And in addition to my guest chat, we also have our regular segments for you. In Humpday Helpers, I shared news about ING switching settlement agents from Dentons to MSA National. And in the reviews wrap up, I'll go through the outcomes from loan reviews completed during the week ending the 4th of July, 2025. Thanks for joining me, and let's get straight into the chat with Kym. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our regular guest chat on Your Broker Admin. Here in the YBA chat room with me today is Kym Alexander, founder and principal of Think Finance. So, Kym, welcome to Your Broker Admin, and thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Rob. Happy to be here.
Now, Kym, just quickly before we get too far down the track, I just want to share some quick background on yourself for the benefit of the listeners.
Yep.
So, from what I understand, you started out in broking back in 2016, working firstly for a commercial asset finance broker for a short time.
Yep.
Before moving over to work for a residential mortgage broker for a couple of years.
Yep.
Then in March 2019, you started up your own mortgage broking business, Think Finance.
Sure did. Took the plunge. It's probably just over 6 years ago now. Took the plunge to going self-employed.
Yep. It is a big call. It's a
Mhm.
big difference from working for someone else.
It is, that's for sure.
Now, something I've had a little bit of a whisper about that I know you're getting married in October after
Yep.
a bit of a whirlwind romance of some 12 years. But rumor has it that there's an interesting tale to how you two actually met.
There is, Rob. Um, uh, Back in the day before Marketplace was around, I put an ad on Gumtree. I'd actually seen someone had put an ad up for a gym buddy. And I suppose I've always been a bit of a workaholic, and I was working up in Harvey Bay for a couple years and just didn't really know anyone, and thought it was a good idea to put an ad up for a running buddy. I was pretty fit back then.
Yeah.
And, so I put up an ad and I had one lady respond, but she wasn't very motivated. So I kind of just let that go. And then I got this text message from Matt, my to be husband.
Yep.
We ended up catching up just to see if it was going to work and what the plan was to start exercising together. And we ran pretty much every day together for about, I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and he is a big country music fan. And after that 5 or 6 weeks, there was a country music festival on down the Gold Coast. And he ended up coming down with me for the weekend, and things kind of blossomed from there. So,
Clearly. Okay.
yeah.
There you go. So it is true you can just virtually buy anything on Gumtree.
That's what he says, yeah. Got more than he bargained for, apparently.
Well, there you go. So there you go. So well, you're a big advocate of Gumtree then, aren't you?
I am. It's I haven't used it for a while now. Marketplace has taken over, but, yeah, it definitely was back then.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's hilarious. So, all right. So let's move on to the actual reason you're here with me today, and that's to talk about your life as a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Now, Kym, what was the motivation behind you wanting to become a mortgage broker, and how did you actually make it happen?
I pretty much always loved property and been involved in property or one way or another during my career. So I was a conveyancer for about 6 odd years. I worked for a builder for about 18 months, and I also worked for they were kind of like a development investment company. I worked with
Mhm.
them for about 7 years.
Yeah, okay.
And it was while I was working with them that I just grew to love finance. I enjoyed setting up the right structures and or working with a broker back then that had set up the right structures for clients looking to invest, particularly in property. So, yeah, it was about then that I started getting interested in finance and
Yeah.
ended up doing my diploma kind of not long after that, and yeah, got into
Yeah.
broking.
Alright, okay, interesting. So you sort of kinda chucked in what you were doing and moved into mortgage broking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fascinating. And so what was your actual understanding of mortgage broking before you actually started down that path?
Definitely not what it is. I think when I first started, actually as a broker, it was a lot more difficult than what I expected. I think there's just so much to know, there's so much to learn and
Mhm. Yep.
understand, and it's just an ever-changing and evolving environment, and, yeah, it definitely wasn't what I expected, but, at the same time, I wouldn't change it. I still love it.
Yeah. If you're enjoying the podcast, then feel free to jump onto podchaser.com, search Your Broker Admin, where you can leave a review, rate the podcast, or just simply follow us so you don't miss an episode. So, Kim, what parts do you enjoy about mortgage broking the most and the bits not so much?
Probably the obvious one is working with amazing people and amazing clients and amazing
Hmm.
referrers. In terms of the actual job itself, I think the research is something I've really always enjoyed, and workshopping, scenarios with lenders.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
That's actually interesting because I would suggest the majority of brokers that I've dealt with over time, that's the bit they hate the most is the research.
no, well, funny for me, I think finding that solution, particularly around complex applications, I think that's the bit I get the most enjoyment out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the bit I don't like the most is the paperwork, uh, and and probably putting applications together, which is where you guys come into it. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
definitely
a
my fun.
big reason why we exist.
Exactly, yeah.
Kim, I'd actually like to delve into that a little bit deeper if that's okay with you. Now, I started working with you not long after you actually launched Think Finance.
Yeah,
And over that time, I've seen you go through the highs and lows of running a mortgage broking business.
yeah.
What would you say has been your biggest challenges and how have you been able to overcome them?
Yeah, look, I think being a sole operator, I think it can be quite lonely in business. That's probably the
Hmm.
first challenge.
Yep.
And I guess in the beginning, particularly not being able to hire someone full time or even part time just because of the cash flow ups and downs when you're first starting out in business,
Hmm.
that was by far the biggest challenges. And I think with MBES, like being able to, because you guys will work for me on deal by deal rather than being committed to a full time or a part time employee, that was a pretty
Yep.
significant. I mean, like you said, we started working together nearly right in the beginning.
Mm, yep.
That was, yeah, that was a significant help for me getting me off the ground, I guess. And I think not long, I think it was a year after I started, COVID hit, and there was that initial
Mhm.
panic where people were pulling back. And being able to do the same with you guys, like you kind of work in with the flow of the ups and downs as well. So being able to pull back from the work that I was doing with you guys originally, and then it got to the point where I started getting busier and busier, and then you guys have gradually taken over more and more of the work. So it started
Yeah.
out
Yep.
with applications,
Yep.
um, and then it went to doing the settlement work. I think the next part was the non-contact reviews,
Hmm. Yep.
that you've been doing for quite a while for me now. And then I think only this year you guys started doing the contact reviews, which even just that's taken an incredible amount of work off me, which has been great.
Yeah. And that's the bit where we're actually calling the client for on your behalf, basically.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And then the last bit is the parabroking that we've started doing together this year.
Yeah.
I think the overcoming the challenge for me was I've just come to realize I'm not great at managing staff.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not my not my strong point and just not something that I really wanna do.
yeah,
Uh, so working with you guys has just allowed me to focus on building the business, doing the research that I actually like, and, working more with clients, and particularly on like, as you know, like, I enjoy working on complex deals, so it's
mhm,
given me
yeah.
that ability to focus on what I really like.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And honestly, I'm glad we've been able to help you on that journey because it actually has been a journey for you. I know
Yeah.
that. Um, but no, that's great. Um, I think we might wrap it up there for today. I believe you've got a bit of a long weekend or extra long weekend scheduled coming up.
True, yes, off to Evans Heads with the family for the weekend, which would be nice.
Yep, absolutely fantastic. Hope the weather's kind for you.
Yes, thank you.
Again, thank you very much for taking some time to have a chat with me today, Kim, amongst all the other chats we've had over the years.
Yeah.
But really appreciate it. Enjoy your long weekend and yeah, have a great one.
Thanks, Rob. And yeah, just a big thanks to MBES. You guys have been an integral part of my business. And yeah, I probably wouldn't have achieved what I've done without you. So very much appreciate all the help over the years.
You're very welcome. Okay, bye, Kim.
See you later. Thank you.
In this week's Humpday Helper, I'm simply sharing for those who may not be aware that ING have recently switched settlement agents from Dentons to MSA National. Access links to both are available on the ING broker portal for those pipeline deals that are still yet to be finalised with Dentons. Mind you, we don't tend to use the MSA National settlement portal much these days, following the introduction of their two-factor authentication system. The main reason being the verification code can only go to the broker's mobile, which is so inconvenient and inefficient for support staff. The change in settlement agent is important to note, of course, for when you are completing discharge requests, making sure you quote the correct one. In this week's reviews wrap up, I take a look at outcomes for loan reviews completed during the week ending the 4th of July 2025. You could say we are just easing our way into the new financial year with the loan reviews this week. We had just the 2 reviews completed where we obtained rate discounts with the annual interest savings from those amounting to $3,700. We did also have a couple of new opportunities that were uncovered, totaling $950,000. Virtually all of the interest savings were from a Bluestone review where we were successful in securing a 0.75% reduction on the rate, saving the borrower $3,500 in interest costs. The end rate was still pretty ugly though, at 8.67% on an owner-occupied facility. Of course, when we spoke with the client, they were pretty keen to chat with their broker to explore other options. Apparently, they had requested a rate review with Bluestone on several occasions with no luck. So we're very happy we were able to achieve at least that for them. We had actually done a rate review for them last year with no change, but were unable to make contact with the client other than by email to discuss the outcome. The other opportunity was for a NAB customer as the result of a poor review outcome. The current investment rate offered by NAB is 6.48% and the loan amount $475,000. Just a quick reminder that if you'd like to provide a review on the podcast, then you can jump onto podchaser.com, search for your broker admin and leave your review there, which would be greatly appreciated. You can also leave comments on any specific episode directly in Spotify. If you want to follow me personally, you can do so at linkedin.com. This is Rob Cummings with your broker admin. Thank you for listening.